Do I need to do the intro for this, or who's doing the
Hello and welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. This is what I'm going to call Absolute Comics .5 because I don't have the usual guests with me and it probably won't reach a usual Absolute Comics level. But it is a discussion about the comics. What did you show me today, Hassan? What did you show me?
Today, I showed you this beautiful tweet that I sent you guys. We can link above, but I'm going to show it on my little camera here. And this tweet talks about the three pillars of the DC universe and says, in regards to the DC's fourth pillar, I think it's pretty obvious, and it shows a picture of Dick Grayson Nightwing alongside, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. And I personally very much subscribe to this, and the comments of this were very argumentative, and they were leaning more towards Harley Quinn. And I know you lean more towards Harley Quinn, Ben.
Well, it's not lean, and I think you misunderstand how comic books work. Let me explain to you the industry.
You don't know anything, first of all.
Let me mansplain comic book marketing to you. So,
Awesome. Finally.
I didn't realize this was just a fan tweet. It's completely wrong because DC had a when was it? They had a conference and they announced the fourth pillar as Harley Quinn. I think
this is just like a fan discussion on like why they think it should be Dick Grayson Nightwing. And I think Dick Grayson fills a need that I think Harley Quinn is very popularized in like current media, like because Margot Robbie's incredible performance, as well as Tara Strong's incredible voice acting, and then probably down the road, Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn. She'll probably do an incredible job as well. But a character like Dick Grayson, I feel like has always been more relevant in comics because he represents legacy, and that's something that is fundamental to the DC universe that isn't in the Marvel universe, that isn't, and even in Image Comics or anywhere else. It's always been a big thing. DC is their legacy characters. They're Robins that turn into Nightwings. They're Kid Flash that turn into Flashes. They're Green Lanterns that turn into Teen Lanterns and Squirrels or whatever. I don't know what's going on in the Green Lantern book. I don't read that, but
Squirrels.
You really should. But anyway, I'm going to send you the entire Jeff Johns saga of Green Lantern and you will be converted.
No, I did read all of that. Yeah, The Blackest Night, I read the whole one. That is incredible. That's what got me into your channel, so I did read that.
So I actually don't think Nightwing should be the fourth pillar. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I do want to clarify I'm a huge fan of Nightwing. So it's like this isn't like I hate Nightwing.
Oh, yeah.
But when I think of a DC pillar, I think of a side of DC that can hold up a whole portion of DC. Like if you didn't have the other characters, it wouldn't matter. So Harley Quinn can do things on her own with Birds of Prey, having her own comic book. What's that?
You said that if it was alone, it could still hold it up. That's not how pillars work, but that's just it.
Well, by using that argument, though, like one pillar could, in theory, hold up a thing, but you need three to four pillars. Yeah, it could be a strong pillar.
I'd like to say,
I was like, Batman
DC
is
likes
the
to
center
pretend
pillar.
that Superman and Wonder Woman are necessary, but at the end of the day, Batman's a big enough pillar to hold the whole thing up.
So I consider Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, they kind of hold their own areas. If anybody should be another pillar of the DC universe, it should be Harley Quinn, Green Lantern, or even Flash, because those are recognizable characters that you would go see solo stuff involving them. Now, that's not to say I think everyone would not go watch a Nightwing movie. I think we all would. The problem with the Nightwing movie, as proven by the Titans show, as proven by Nightwing's comic book, he will never get out of the shadow of Batman. Batman will always get brought up, which makes Nightwing not able to float on his own. Do I think Nightwing could? Yes, they got to move him wholeheartedly away and never reference Batman, but they don't do that. So to make him a pillar all by himself, I think he's a part of the Bat family. I think he's an incredible character.
You're thinking of Nightwing like when he's in Bloodhaven. I'm thinking of Nightwing when he's the leader of the Titans. Or the Teen Titans before, and I guess you're right. A lot of those stories do hinge on like him being out of the shadow of the Bat and then doing his own thing, and it's less of like who he is and where he stands on his own. It's more about who he is right now and where he stands right now. So I see what you're saying.
The Titans show had a whole season dedicated to him going back to Gotham.
Don't talk about that show until you catch up on it because that show is ridiculous and it is a slapstick comedy show, and I'm catching up with it, guys. We will review it soon.
Right, but let me give you a better one. The Teen Titans cartoon show. That did the best job of Dick Grayson getting out of the shadow of Batman, but it was still a referenced point. It was still a part of his character.
I see what you're saying. And you're saying Wonder Woman exists without referencing Batman or Superman. Superman exists without referencing the other two and all that. I see what you're saying. And then Harley Quinn represents the fourth pillar. I guess I didn't understand the pillar discussion, but I definitely looked at the tweet and I thought, to represent legacy, I think that is something significant that is significant to specifically DC in a way that nothing else is. And the people in the comments were being very like, well, Birds of Prey didn't even used to include Harley Quinn. It used to include this person and this person and this person. Right. And they went on like a thing. But it's right. It does now include that. Harley Quinn represents the Suicide Squad, which is a very separate situation too. So I see what you're saying. I do love my Dick Grayson Nightwing. And I think that DC has always, you guys always crap your pants on making him more important in your universe because everyone loves him. Readers, fans, everybody. Like, and God, he's God apparently. Yeah.
No, so I'm showing you this because it leads into what you're saying. It actually kind of adds to your point. I think that he is the epitome of a legacy character. This is the not leaked, they released it, cover to the finale to Dark Crisis. And Dark Crisis, his whole thing has been John Kent taking over as Superman and how he can handle it, and Dick Grayson kind of taking over as Batman by leading the Titans. But again, it leads back to Batman. But you are right. He's the epitome of legacy, how you can succeed and excel beyond your mentor and things like that.
When I think of what I loved about the DC universe, like what I loved reading comics, it's honestly like I like a lot of Batman stories. I've loved a few really good Superman stories here and there. I haven't read enough Wonder Woman, and that's on me, and I should read more. But Nightwing, Kid Flash, like Titans, like those legacy characters have always been the things that are like, I like them because I've always related to them on a more fundamental, like when I was getting into comics, they were the focal point for me. And also like I'm a big Young Justice fan. I've always been a big like sidekicks and eventually like the main hero fan. Right. And Nightwing just had my favorite bridge of like, he started out as a Robin and he was, starts a Robin, gets some advice from Superman, is trained by Deathstroke, becomes Nightwing, eventually takes over as Batman, says F that, goes back to being Nightwing. And like, there was always something so resonant about him, like Dick Grayson as a character. Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's the fourth pillar of DC Universe. I saw that in a tweet this morning, guys. Don't judge me. And I still think it made for a very nice discussion. So
no, it does. And I don't disagree. I just think if you're looking at a pillar, I consider the pillars and from what DC has promoted as being a pillar.
Right.
As being someone that, if they got pulled out of the DC universe, could support the whole line of themselves. Now, do I think Harley Quinn can support the entire DC line of herself? No, but apparently DC does. So,
well, clearly
DC
you haven't been
believes
to a Halloween in the last 4 years.
Well, I think that's what they're going off of because you got when DC and these companies, and this is where it differs from manga. They don't look at Batman as, okay, are we going to tell a great Batman story right now? The problem is with the big two, Marvel and DC, is at the end of the day, they don't care if the story is good or bad. They just need it to go. They take the idea of like Batman or Nightwing and they just throw all the ideas against the wall, and if one does well, like a Killing Joke or a No Man's Land or a Nightwing was it Lazarus Project? No, what's the famous one? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They just throw everything against the wall, hoping one of those is going to stick and be a big hit. What they're more concerned with is merchandising beyond the point. How many people are going to draw Batman? How many people are going to dress up as Batman? How many people are going to talk about Batman? And I think Harley Quinn, to bring to your point there, Dylan, has hit that. Yeah. Because she's like one of the number one Halloween costumes in existence. Like,
I mean, she was incredibly merchandised. And it's crazy. I mean, she came from an animated series. She didn't come from a comic book medium in like her original inception and turn into this. And it's spectacular. There's a lot of characters that I think it's crazy that's DC's like mindset. And there are characters like Batman Beyond that I think, wow, for us 90s kids was like the most popular early 2000s kids, most incredible thing that we ever watched. And I think the merchandising of that could be crazy.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't milk that, but
they've never done that. Yeah. They've always been in the works. But no, I agree. And Harley Quinn's in Fortnite. Nightwing isn't in Fortnite. I'll say it. Batman's in Fortnite. Superman's in Fortnite. The Flash from the CW's in Fortnite. The Green Arrow's in Fortnite. Nightwing has never made it to Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't know why
Battle
he
Royale.
hasn't. Like, they've even got other Teen Titans. There's Beast Boy, Raven.
They do have Beast Boy, Raven, and
Marvel pays them
Starfire.
more.
Yeah. Is Donna in there? I think Donna's in there. I'm booting it up now to see who's in it. But
No
yes,
way.
I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out
I'm
because
curious
I own
about
them
this.
all. So
Of course you do. I think I have the Flash because I thought the skin was funny looking. It was like the leather Flash suit from the fourth season of CW show. But yeah, I really like. I want to say it was like a dual thing of I watched your whole run on Green Lantern, and then I bought the books, and then it was Young Justice, and immediately after Young Justice, like I love Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson as Jesse McCartney voicing Dick Grayson was really fun because he voiced Roxas in my favorite video game, Kingdom Hearts. So like I immediately became obsessed with Nightwing, and then reading his like origin story and then some of his more like his books at the time just put me on a journey. And then I read Wally West Flash, and then Flash Rebirth came out, like not Flash Rebirth, Rebirth came out with Wally West as the focal point. I was sold on Legacy being, I was like, oh, they know what they're doing. And then I don't remember books being much like that after 2016, but it was a fun little pocket.
It's the problem, and I probably should make a whole video on this because people don't realize, like Marvel and DC don't care about the comics. They just don't. As proven by the fact, like at the end of the day, Spider-Man is owned by Sony, and Disney doesn't just buy it out because the movies don't make the money. It's the merchandising that makes the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and that's what it comes down to. I'm looking
That's
to see.
why Pokemon is the best-selling franchise in history because they make toys.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
That's why they don't put a lot of effort into their games. Like they put.
They don't need to.
They don't need to. Yeah.
The Batman. Okay, so just to give you an idea of the industry. Okay, 2021 was the biggest year in comics due to graphic novel sales. All right.
Wow.
What that ends up meaning is that they made $2.1 billion as an industry. So DC, Marvel, independent books, manga, everything falls into that. Okay.
That's very bad.
No, it's actually the biggest it's ever been.
But yeah, for comics,
but
that's great.
In my brain, I'm like, my reference point is manga, anime, and Western media movies and TV shows. And I was like, oh,
when
God.
one movie can make half of that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's why everyone always likes to make the comment of comic books are dying because the industry doesn't make billions upon billions of dollars, but they don't care about that. That's what people don't realize. They don't care that 2.1 billion sounds really low in comparison to the rest of it. That's because in 2016 alone, DC Comics made 4.5 billion on the merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Batman shirts, Batman action figures, straight to video. Like that's why they don't care. That's why you always hear all those guys that are trying to just hate on the comic book industry being like, it's dying. They only did 1.5 billion as an industry. Right. Because American comics are used to create merchandise in movies. The movie makes $1 billion. The merchandise makes 4.5 billion. That compensates for how low this industry makes.
That makes sense. And that might be a big reason as to like why Nightwing doesn't pop up because Nightwing has never had that much merch line and I doubt it would sell very well without a movie right now. Like I'm going to buy every little Nightwing figure and statue that I see, but why would anybody else do it? He's a legacy character that he was, put to film in a couple episodes of Teen Titans with a mullet. He was put to film 3 times in Batman the Animated Series, I think. Not even more than that. Wasn't even allowed to be used in Justice League Unlimited for some reason. He was not allowed to be in that. And then Young Justice. So yeah, definitely not enough time on screen. Cool. And then Harley Quinn is everywhere and is every piece of merch ever.
And that's why, because honestly, the Harley Quinn comics have not been great in like 5 or 6 years. Like once Amanda Conner left that project, it's kind of been all over the place. We've had some good stories and some terrible stories. Artwork's been all over the place. But like, what do people think about when they think Harley Quinn? Margot Robbie, Halloween costumes, and the animated series, which has led to its own merchandising brand. So
yeah. No, I'm on your camp. I see why Grayson's not a pillar, but I think if we were going to bring a 5th pillar in, I think it should be Dick Grayson. We're going to.
I think he'd be
it legacy. Make it legacy. It could be open ended.
I don't
think
think
as to
legacy.
who that is.
I think he could stand on his own. They just I almost feel like they're afraid to kind of try really tempting him on his own. The last time I can think of that he went fully on his own was when he was Agent Grayson and wasn't even Nightwing.
Yeah, and I like how he is in Bloodhaven, where he has a team behind him, kind of with Barbara and on call, random other heroes, Titans, Tim Drake, whatever. And Bruce, I think Bruce has been in the story a little bit, but not a lot. And
he pops up though. He was just in the latest issue. He has his own, Mixolydian character now, Nightmite.
Oh, that's so. Man, I gotta get back on this.
Batman shows up for like 2 seconds, and he's like, because Nightmite pops Batman in for the wedding he's trying to stage for Barbara and Dick. And the Batman's there, and he just looks at Dick, and he's like, "So you got your own 5th dimensional imp, huh?"
Yeah.
And Dick Grayson's like, "Wait, are you real?" And Nightmite's like, "Well, yeah, Batman wouldn't miss your wedding." And Batman's like, yeah, can you send me home? I got 3 murders I'm trying to solve. And that's it. He's out.
There was this, I think it was like in the first issue of that run or the second issue, or maybe it was just like a penultimate episode. I don't remember. But very early on in that run, that panel where Grayson's trying to break into Tony Zuko's daughter's place or whatever, and Barbara can't read him on the comms, and he's like, call him off after like he's safe, and you just see panels like the Titans are flying over to come save him, and Batman's in the bat plane like coming to Bloodhaven, because like Nightwing commands the most respect in the DC universe. That's how I've always. There's a line in Young Justice where at the end of season 3, Dick Grayson calls an informal meeting because the Justice League is kind of over, and like he calls a meeting of everybody, which is like the Young Justice team, like everyone, and he's like, wow, I didn't think that many people would come, and then Batman looks at him, he's like, I don't think you understand how much respect you command here, or whatever, and just immediately just runs that meeting. Okay, cool. Well, I think that we're good on that topic then.
Yeah.
We've hit it. You've taught me a valuable lesson.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a discussion and some tutorials on the comic industry.
How to make comic books with Benny and Hassan and Dylan.
And, oh man, even Hassan forgot you were here, Dylan.
No, I didn't.
We'll
see you guys next time.
That's okay.